Hello and welcome to your Sound Innovations book lesson on page 8 for saxophone. I'm starting to get excited now because on this page you finally get to move into your first song. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. A couple new things we want to go over first though before we get to that. We have two new things at the top of the page here. So the first lesson we learned that a whole note gets 4 beats. Last one we learned a half note gets 2 beats. Now we're moving over to what's called quarter notes. Quarter notes are filled in notes, so they're filled in with a stem. And you'll see 4 of them right there. And those get 1 beat each. And what you say for each one is the word ta. So I would say ta, 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 ta. And that's all you do for those 4 notes, is say the word ta. The next thing you see, they look like little squiggly lightning bolts. Kind of how I call them. Looks just like that. Those are quarter note rests, or quarter rests. Those get 1 beat, and all you do for each one of those little lightning bolt squigglies you see, you say the word rest. So if I was playing this one, I would say rest, 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 rest. And that is it. So for quarter notes, I'm going to show you, I'm just going to play note B. I'm going to do 4 quarter notes. If you notice, ta, 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 just like I say the ta sound through the instrument. So that makes doing the rhythms really, really easy. Really helps you out with the counting. All right, let's look right down at number 16. So you got 4 quarter notes, 4 quarter rest. 4 quarter notes, 4 quarter rest, 4 quarter notes, and then a whole note. So here we go. Number 16 starts on your G. Ernie gave. Second line G. First 3 fingers down. Make sure those first 3 fingers are down. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Rest, 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 rest. Rest, 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 rest. And that gets you through number 16. Now, let's look at quarterly report. Now that we're starting to get into fingers moving a little bit faster from note to note, that the notes are moving, because quarter notes only get that 1 beat, you want to make sure your fingers don't lift way up off, because it's very easy to miss the key when you put your fingers back down. So make sure your fingers stay still on the key, but just not pushing them down when they're not being used. So here we go. Quarterly report starts on your B with just your first finger down. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Rest, rest, rest. Rest, rest. Now you might have noticed at the end of the song there is a repeat sign. I'm not doing it right now, but I just want to make you aware that it's there, that normally when we play this you would actually repeat that song. Remember, the repeat is that thick black line with a little thin one and the 2 dots. That means repeat. Next song, we get to actually do a song. Yay! First though, you've got a word here called a phrase. Think of a phrase as a musical idea that ends with a breath. That's the real definition. Think of it like a sentence. It's part of a bigger thing. So you in a song, think of a song as a story. Think of paragraphs as part of that story. And then the sentence is a smaller part of that story. A phrase is a smaller part of the song. And you'll notice in Hot Cross Buns, they put that in there because you wouldn't go ba-da, bum. You would go ba-da-da, bum before you take that breath. So it helps make the musical idea continue forward and not be broken up. Okay? So Hot Cross Buns, our first song. Yay! So here we go. It starts on our B. Just your first finger pushed down. We're going to take this one nice and steady. 1, 2, ready, go. go, hot cross buns. The thing you want to be careful of is keep it steady. I hope you hear the tapping that I'm doing as I go through it to help keep it very steady. You don't want to make sure you go ba da da ba da da yum bum bum ba da ta 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 ta. See how I'm changing speeds? I'm going slower and faster. You want to keep that speed the same. Ta 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 ta. Ta 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 ta. So everything is very steady. I didn't slow down and speed up. All right, let's go down to 19. We get another new note, our fourth note, which is note C. And if you look in 19 and the little fingering chart there, the second circle is filled in, meaning I don't push down my first finger. I am just pushing that second finger down for the note C, which sounds like just like that. So here we go. Remember, that second finger stays down in this one because the two notes we have in this is C and G. Remember, C sits on your third space. Notes in the space spell the word face, F-A-C. That is in your third space. Whoops, sorry about that. Let me get that muted again. Keep forgetting to do that. So notes in the space spell the word face, F-A-C. Your C fingering is just your second finger. Your second finger is also down for your G, which is the other note in the song, so you can just leave your second finger down for the whole song. So here we go. Number 19, our fourth note. 1, 2, ready, go. And there is your C. Now we're going to look down at number 20. Again, make sure if you have to pause these to figure out any notes that you need to play or write in any notes, feel free to pause it. 20 is going to probably take you a little bit of time. There's a lot of different rhythms in this. There's a little bit more jumping around, and there's some rests mixed in. So there's a lot of stuff you got to think through in this one. So this one may take you a little bit of time. You might find the first half of it is really easy, but the second half gives you some trouble. So if the first half is easy, when we go through this and you find the second half gave you trouble, just practice the second half for a little bit. You don't have to sit there and play through the whole song over and over just to practice the part that's giving you trouble. Just work on the part that's giving you some trouble. Okay? So here is Scaling the Wall, number 20, all the way through. 1, 2, ready, go. Scaling the Wall. I guarantee the first time you probably went through that, you went, oh. Take your time with it, please, please, because this is one of the key ones on the page. I do not want you moving on at all. As I say, I don't want you moving on until you get good at the song that you were working on. But this one is really key. Do not move on until you get really good at this song. But once you do, we can go on to number 21, our fifth note, which would be note D. And you're going to notice everything in that fingering chart is filled in, including that little back behind raindrop looking fingering. So in this one, I'm going to push down all 6 of my fingers, and then on the back, I'm going to take just part of my thumb and push that octave key down. And when I do that, I get a nice higher note out of a note D. So in this song, we've got our D to our G. So you need to make sure when you're switching between the two that you take that octave key off. So my finger, you'll see my finger isn't really moving up and down. I hope you can see that in the recording. It's not really sliding. It's just wiggling around a little bit. It's just, I'm just turning it or rolling it is the proper word. I'm rolling it to hit that octave key. Okay? So all 6 fingers and the octave key pushed down for your D. So here we go. 21, our 5th note. 1, 2, ready, go. That is your D. You might find it takes a little more air to get that D to come out. So make sure you take nice big breaths. And remember, as always, don't lift your shoulders up when you're taking a breath in. Let your stomach come out. Let's go down to the final song on page 8, Scaling New Heights. It's using all the new notes we've learned now. So here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Lots of jumping around, especially in the second part of that song after that second breath mark. From that second breath mark to the end, there is a ton of jumping around. A lot of fingers moving, so make sure you take your time. You might have to pause the video and go through it kind of slowly to get practice with that. That's fine. But again, do not move on to page 9 until you get good at all of page 8. Otherwise, keep practicing page 8, and I will see you in the next lesson for page 9.